So in this video I'm going to take the same file we translated last time, this one here. I'm not going to open it yet because it starts a clock running, this particular application. So I have a plugin here called Qualitivity. At the moment it's completely empty because I haven't done anything with it yet, but there's a couple of interesting things to note with it. And if I go to the application settings up here, you can see down the list there's a number of different things that you can do. You can set up the language rates, so I've done that already, and these match the same rates that I had previously. You can have your clients in here as well, so I've added a couple of clients. You can have personal details which you can fill out. Under activity tracking, you can specify, or you can set that an activity tracker starts automatically when a document is opened, which is what I've checked, so that this will start working as soon as I open the file to start doing the post editing work. And it's also going to record the keystroke data. That's optional and it's only for you. It does a couple of other things as well, so you can have a little quality metrics in here, fairly similar to the TQA within Studio. There's an integration to Taos and a backup, but I'm going to save those things. So what I'm going to do is I come over to the file, I open my file up, and you'll see that there's a little activity tracker over here on the right. It's not here by default. Normally I think it comes in down the bottom down here somewhere, but I've just dragged it over here, dropped it into this window there so that I can put it there. You can see it started ticking already, so we're up to 12, 13 seconds, 14 seconds. If you don't like that, you don't have to view it. You can turn it off here. Some people find it quite unnerving if you turn that off. Well, in fact, sorry, I need to drag it out and then get rid of it if I didn't want to do that. So I can close it like that. If I want to put it back, I click on that activity tracker. Hasn't lost anything, comes back and I can drop it in there again. But I could leave it with my term recognition on, and then I don't have to watch the activity tracker ticking by. But I'm going to leave it on in this case. So from this moment forward, everything is being recorded. The time that I'm spending in a segment, the number of changes that I'm making to a document, the movement between segments. Everything that I do in this document now has been completely recorded. So I'm going to go through and start doing the translation. So I would take it as the first one I'm going to confirm it, the second one I'm going to confirm it because the first two I was happy with, and then I'm going to start doing the post editing. I'm going to cheat a little bit with this one as well because otherwise I'll be here all day. So you'll notice the time is going to be a little bit different as I flick over to one that I did before. So I've finished that translation and I just close the file, save the changes, and a little box comes up giving me the opportunity to pick my client. I'll say multifarious, gives it a project name. I'm just going to leave it by the defaults, and this is my post edited first draft perhaps. Change that to a lowercase o. Status billable, yes it's billable. So you can see there's a few more options on here. You can see it's recorded the total amount of time I've spent on that document. There's a couple of other options I can choose. I can specify whether I'm paid by language rates, in which case it can use my pricing. And there you can see it will come to 84.25. I could specify an hourly rate, and then it can give me whatever my rate is for hours. So it might be 25 euros an hour perhaps. So there you can see I've only earned 5 euros for that, which is not as good as the other rate clearly, so I probably wouldn't do that one. Or I might just say for a particular customer, I want a custom rate, and I might have a default, say minimum 25 euro fee perhaps, and so then I could use a 25 euro fee. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the language rates because it's quite attractive, and I'll use that one. There's a couple of other options there. You can check the comparison settings, and there's a bit of quality assessment in there as well if you wanted to use this for TQA as we looked at before, but I'm not. I'm just going to click on OK. That closes the file. I can now go down to my Qualitivity example, and now you can see I've got a lot more information in here, and under the activity documents tab down here I have a similar thing to post edit compare. So I've got my post edit modifications analysis, the translations, translation modifications, confirmation statistics. What I also have there is the information that I had before, but with a slight difference. So I can see the date and time within each particular segment, the status, the source, target updated, the comparison, also the modifications and PDM, post edit modification percentage which was also in the post edit compare video that we looked at. There's a few other interesting bits of analysis here that I can take. Under the document records, here you see a little bit more information. You can see the actual time I started and stopped in any particular segment, and it also follows the movement. So if I happen to have worked in segments and gone in and out of a segment, like this one for example on 5, where I went out of it at one time and then back in it again and then back out again, it can show you the movement that you actually tracked and worked up and down the document, which is also quite interesting. And there's other information you can show. You can even record the keystroke data, which is what I've been doing. So if I move that up a bit, here you can see the actual keystrokes and the time I pressed them for every single bit of post-edit modification work I did for the entire document. And you can also find, if you copied and pasted like that, for example, I did that there. If you were using TMs, I wasn't in this case, but if I was, I'd be able to see where the origin system was. And where it came from, which translation memory it came from. So there's a lot of information it's possible to record if you found it interesting. So this is a lot more detailed than post-edit compare, but does a similar thing. To get the information out afterwards, you can create an activities report like this, and it brings up a little wizard and runs you through it. It's pretty straightforward. I've only got one file in there at the moment, so you can then take the reports, have them go to Excel, have them go to XML, or just do the HTML that you would got normally with the as you would with post-edit compare. So this is a lot more detailed and puts all the reports by default into this location, but you can put them wherever you like. Click on next. We'll run through, process the details, and there it is. And it's all in a zip file, and there they are. So there's my my different reports, quality metrics, an overall thing in a spreadsheet, and the XML file. So a lot of information that's provided within this application. So that's how you would do the post-edit compare using Qualitivity as opposed to the post-edit compare application.